Welcome, everybody, to this week's edition of Bassmaster Classic Eve Tackle Shop Live.
A sunny day, right there you took my breath away. A young and pretty, was it just a dream?
C. Bettinger, first one in the house. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Patrick Kingrey, what's happening, buddy? East Stacks Fishing, Scott Luckoff, Gilbert, Crappy Kev, yeah, baby. Albert Murray. Yeah, you better believe it. Weather's weird. Classic, you bet. Really weird. What's up? Warren Cottrell, how are you, buddy? Show me. Conway Hayden, Jim Saban, how you guys all doing, man? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. Sam and Sam, what is up? Frank Garvey, Mike Hayer, Robert Mills. Look at this, man. Everybody's here. Cast of Nasty Baits. What's up, buddy? Thanks for stopping in, man. I appreciate you. Shane McNaughton, Jeff Santangelo, Alvin Valentine, man. Everybody's here tonight, man. What a great deal. Mike Barr. Hey, Mike, good seeing you today, buddy. That was a good time, man, hanging out with you guys today. That was fun. Yeah, absolutely. Joseph Cascarino. Lisa Lake Mark, how are you, buddy? Nick Cool, Alvin Valentine. Yeah, I'm doing good, buddy. Stephen McGargy, how are you, pal? BK Lovelace. Where you been, BK? I haven't seen you forever. LP Bass and Lane Graves. Man, I'll tell you, we got a phenomenal crew tonight. Really nice to see you guys stopping in, hanging out with us tonight on another Tackle Shop Live. And, man, this is the eve of the Bassmaster Classic, the most prestigious tournament of all tournaments. If you're a tournament guy, this is the one that you're looking forward to. You're all jacked up on, doing your research. And tonight we're going to do our classic picks between Nick, George, and I. A lot on the stake, Nick. A lot on the stake.
I think you guys should just give me the ring already.
Last year, we had to pay off. We lost to Nick, but I'm coming in hot. Nick. Coming in hard. George is coming in hard. He was working all day long on it.
Like, how long did you research on your page?
Probably about 7 minutes.
Hey, sometimes that's what it takes.
Well, you know, I lost track of time, and I just want to thank everybody, Nick, for this past weekend and the past couple of days that we've had in here. You know, we're very humbled, George and I, to have customers like you guys. You're so supportive beyond anything that we can comprehend. And we had an absolute awesome cabin fever sale this past weekend. We had great weather. We had just a great crowd, a lot of fun. We had great seminars. And it was great just to see you guys and shake hands with everybody that is a listener here on Tackle Shop Live. But it's just really special. And then when we opened up our online sale, the support there was just kind of overwhelming. And we really appreciate that. You know, honestly, it's very humbling for George and I, and we don't take it lightly. And we appreciate you guys a lot. We work hard, but you guys are just great. And I always say it, we have the greatest listeners and the greatest customers anywhere. There's nobody better. Whatever anybody can say, nah, we got it. We have it covered. We've been doing it the longest, and we have the greatest support staff, support team, listeners, customers ever. So thank you guys for a great show season. It was a great wrap up this past weekend. And, I hope everybody had fun who came to the shows. I know I did. I had a good time. I know that we had some great talent. We thank everybody who came and did seminars. They just pulled the stops out and did really well, and really, came through with flying colors. So we appreciate taking the time out of your busy schedules and doing that. And we appreciate the customers and you guys for coming and hanging out with us here at the shop and supporting us, because it means a lot. So yeah, but to keep the ball rolling, Nick, we want to do something a little different. This is going to make everybody laugh, but this weekend, March the 14th, which is Saturday, we're going to have Super Trout Saturday, Nick. Super Trout Saturday. Yep. All you trout heads and trout people, we didn't forget about you. People think we're a bass shop, Nick, and we are. We're a premier bass shop in the Northeast and the East Coast. I mean, this is what we do. But we also are a shop of trout fishing. We are serious about it. We do it. We've done it for most of our lives when we were younger, and we just know a lot about it. And we fish it, and I took it back up this year, and it's just awesome. So we have a great Saturday for everybody. If you want to stop in, get stocked up for trout season, get ready to go for this big trout season that's coming up. And we got some giveaways we're going to do. We're going to do an ultralight combo rod and reel for a $50 purchase, get you in the drawing. Plus we have a couple of tackle packs we're putting together to give out also. So it's going to be a good time. We're going to talk fishing, we're going to talk tackle, and we're going to educate. We're going to be here educating. So anybody who's interested in that, this weekend on Saturday, March the 14th, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's going to be a blast. And we're looking forward to it a lot. So check that out. And we got a lot going on. My name is Mike Acord. This is George Acord. Behind the camera is cameraman Nick. We are Tackle Shop Live. We come at you every Thursday night. Thank you for all the new listeners, Nick.
Oh, absolutely.
We got a lot of new listeners, and a double thank you for our OGs. Bunch of OGs.
Speaking of that, don't be afraid to go into comments and tag one of your friends.
This is the time to do it. Go in there and tell your friends to get on and watch us, because this is the happening moment of time when we're doing Tackle Shop Live. You don't want to miss it.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
You know what I learned this weekend? We talk about tackle junkies, bass heads, all that good stuff. And there's so many of us out there.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest bass heads or tackle junkies I've ever seen in my life is Alex Davis.
Oh,
I mean, come on.
that was the single best shopping experience I ever watched anybody do ever in the history of our store. He started out by calling George like 3 or 4 times prior to getting here. Hey, do you have this? Hey, do you have that? How many of this do you have? How many of that do you have? And he planned this whole thing out. And literally, he walked through the door, shook George's hand, didn't even walk right past me. He didn't really care. Walked right past me, and he started shopping. It was the most unbelievable thing. And by the end of the 2 days that he was here, he had 4 of our shopping baskets packed and overflowing.
True story.
And that's the truth. And he was explaining why he was doing it. Now he's a guide. He's a full-time guide down on Gunnersville, so he goes through a lot of tackle. But he was explaining a lot of things about why he's getting this, why he's getting that, and it was great. Plus, his seminars are phenomenal. He had great seminars, and his energy level in the shop here when he was talking to guys individually, that's the thing about our shows. You get that individual time with him, Nick. The individual time that he spent with our customers was staggering, and they were just answering questions and asking questions, and he's just a great guy. So it's always nice to have him here. He has an open invitation. We told him he has an open invitation for every year to come in and do this show with us, because he's such a special guy and a hardcore bass head, as you say, Nick, a hardcore bass head. But we had Greg DePalma here, did great seminars. We had Gray Buck. And Gray Buck is a great guy. He was here. And then we had Jeff Little, who we've been trying to get here for years and years and years. And Jeff is like a scientific fisherman. He does like crazy scientific stuff. and he was talking about bubbles that and foam and stuff. And I was like really paying attention to that because, you know, that made a lot of sense. And some of his biggest fish that he ever caught were out of foam pockets. Take that for what it is, but I seen the guy catch a 6.5 pounder on the river. So that's pretty special, you know.
One of my favorite parts too was when Greg was doing his seminar, he got good old Mikey involved.
Yeah.
You were in there.
Yeah. Greg was doing a seminar, and then he said, "Why don't you stay here?" And everybody was hooping and hollering about me staying. So I did about 20 minutes with everybody, and then they started calling and panicking about stuff. You know what the panic was? Why I had to come in here to put the tournament on the TV.
That's a big deal.
That's a big deal. They called me out of my seminar to go do that, so I did that. So pretty cool to do that. But anyway, thanks everybody for stopping in. We got a great show for you tonight. We're gonna bring it to you hardcore. We got a lot to cover, and we got to get it going right now. And we love this section. We call this Tackle Talk. Yeah, baby. We're a tackle shop. We love tackle, and we love talking about tackle. George, what is the deal? What do you got hot? What's going on in the world of fishing tackle?
Well, you know, I'm going to keep it kind of short and sweet tonight because we have a lot going on with the Classic.
Yeah.
We have a lot going on with our topic that, you know, we don't get into too often, but we're going to talk about spring fishing on the greatest smallmouth river on planet Earth. Pre-spawn smallmouth fishing on the greatest smallmouth river on planet Earth. And I ain't talking about the St. Lawrence.
No. We know what it is.
Everybody knows what it is. That topic's kind of big.
Yeah.
And it's exciting. We don't really get into it that often, but every once in a while you gotta play the home field advantage.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that. So we don't have I'm going to abbreviate this a little bit, but I have some exciting stuff for you that I'm going to delve into a little bit more than I just teased you on the last few weeks. First off, you know, you all know about the bite powder. You know, we've done the bite powder.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like a year ago.
Bite powder is a big deal.
The bite powder, and this is my lead into the next product, but the bite powder is, you know, Taco Ito's secret
concoction. Is that a good word?
No. Like when Dave Schindler comes down here and does barbecue, he has a rub he puts on.
Yeah.
That changes it, right? This is the rub.
All right.
You know, this you put on your baits and you let them kind of hang out in the pack for a while. And when it gets wet, it kind of layers up on the bait and just oozes that scent out, which, you know, the number one scent is like a shrimp scent, which, you know, is like an undeniable scent.
Mm-hmm.
The shrimp scent is absolutely an undeniable scent.
Yeah.
It's a game changer. It's why, you know, Kitech and Nori's and Jackal and all those plastics from Japan are just hot. We talked about that. We know about that. But my lead in is now we have Bite Liquid.
Wow.
Okay. Fresh, new Nori's Bite Liquid. So now we have a liquid form, which is a little more what we're used to. And we're going to apply this to all of our baits. We're going to apply this. We can marinate in the bag with it. We can mix these two together. Give these a good dousing and then powder them up with this. I mean, you can get pretty intense with this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Carry this in the boat.
Oh, yeah.
Put a little bit on your jig skirts. Put a little bit on your plastics. Put a little bit on, you know, everything. So it's Nori's Bite Liquid. And, you know, I was just kind of checking it out. You know, checking out all the logos on there. We got Bite Liquid USA.
Yeah.
Which tells me it's modified. There's probably some kind of a FDA banned substance in the straight up Japan version.
Yeah, I was going to say they had to bring it into the country and then had to take some things out of it. Some secret weapons.
Yeah, so you can use this on everything. You can put this on your flipping jigs, you know. You like to flip a jig? Just kind of put it all in that skirt, all in that weed guard, on your trailer. You know, this stuff's kind of
it's undeniable, George. It's
got a little body to it.
Yeah, well, it's undeniable what that stuff really is. I mean, it's proven in the powder, and it's a proven scent. I mean, you know, we could do a whole show on scent.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and the you know what it does and what it doesn't do, and the different scents and the different types of scents. But there's a ton of them out there, and it's a big deal. And this one is the Tacoito one, and I mean, let's face it, the guy is a hammer.
Yeah,
he believes in it like a lot.
It's legit.
Yeah, it's legit.
So it's $12.99 for this jar right here, and you know a little goes a long way. You know, so it's gonna take you a while to get through that. And that is Nori's Bite Liquid. Now, like a couple weeks ago, if I look at my notes, I can remember, but it's not really that important. Like 3-4 weeks ago, I mentioned the Shimano Vanquish.
I
didn't go crazy because we only had the 4,000 in, but I just wanted to. This is such an amazing reel. I just wanted to throw it out there. But now I want to break them down because we got the 3,000. Here's your size difference. 3,000. There's your spool diameter difference.
Yep. Popular size 3,000 in the Shimano lineup. It's got the deeper spool.
Now check
a little bit more
this out.
capacity.
2,500. Look how shallow that spool is.
That's a neat thing. It's this 2,500 has the shallow spool, so you don't have to put so much, you know, power or braid on, or you don't have to put so much fluorocarbon on there.
Well, here's what's interesting. The 2,500 is a 5/8 to 1 gear ratio. So it's got a little more torque.
Power and torque.
But what's interesting is with this shallow spool and that diameter, it is taking up 37 inches of line per crank. Exactly the same as the 3,000. Now, that's on a full spool, obviously. Whereas the 4,000 is bringing in 40 inches of line per crank. You know, now one of the things is in the bass fishing world, you know, a lot of the majority of anglers stay away from 4,000 size reels. Whereas when we were in the fluorocarbon age, before we all spooled our reels with braid, a lot of your anglers fished a 4,000 because the fluorocarbon liked that bigger diameter spool. But I got to be honest with you, a lot of anglers do not. So keep the 4,000 in mind when you're shopping, no matter what reel. When you're putting it on a rod that's in the 7-foot or above range. And the reason I say that is you're gaining more inches per crank.
Helps with balance on a 7-footer.
Not only, well, these are super light.
Yeah.
But not only that, your casting distance and your line is more, if you're fishing fluorocarbon, your line is more relaxed. So
yeah,
keep that 4,000 in mind. Now, these bad boys right here are like Lamborghinis, man. These are freaking Lambos.
Yep.
I mean, this whole thing is crazy. So this is the 3,000 here. We have a CI4 carbon handle.
That's nuts. That's hot rod.
We have a CI4 body plus. We have a super light rotor. And I want you to pay attention to this rotor, how this rotor is asymmetrical. That's a common feature on all the Magnum light reels. So the trip lever, which would normally sit in here, you see that's all gone. The trip lever is now on this side of the spool, of the bail arm. So this allowed more weight reduction. One piece bail wire. So that is this whole thing all flows. This is all one piece. You look at the bails on your spinning reels, they go into like that. Not here. This is a common feature on most of Shimano's Magnum light reels. You got the anti-twist fin. That's right below the line roller there. You see that little fin.
It's hard to see because of the blackout. It's all blacked out.
It is hard to see, isn't it? That little fin right there. Right below the line roller. So what that is, that line contacts that fin, and that fin kind of washes that twist out of that line. And it does a great job at it. 11 shielded anti-rust bearings. Now, these anti-rust bearings are anti-rust bearings. You know, stainless steel bearings, they rust. These do not rust. Saltwater proof. They will not rust. 11 of them. And that's important because they're in places that reinforce rigidity. Like the spool shaft has 2 bearings on it to keep it under load, to keep it from moving, which helps with the drag. Now let's talk about the drag. The 2500 with that little shallow spool, that's your finesse reel. That's only got 8 pounds of drag. But 8 pounds of drag on most bass fishing scenarios is more than enough. Your 3000 and has 20 pounds of drag, and your 4000 has 24 pounds of drag. So super light. The 2500 is 5.8 ounces. It's the lightest reel that they make in their lineup. And the 3000, 6 ounces. The 4000, this big 4000 is 7.2 ounces. This is the weight of most 2500s. So awesome reels. Lamborghinis, the drag material in them is woven. It's called Duracross. It's just like there's a stack of, you know, a Duracross washer and a metal washer and a Duracross washer and a metal washer. The drag is just butter. No stick, chat, nothing. That's just one of the many, many features, along with the other features we pointed out. So if you're looking to get yourself a, like, just dialed in primo reel, check out the Vanquish. The 2500 to 3000 are $529.99, and the 4000 is $539.99.
And they are limited too, George. Limited in production and limited in
Yeah, I mean, all this kind of stuff, with the exception of like Stella, has some limits on the availability. So I mean, these are questions that we really can't answer. Like, when are they going to come in stock? When will they be back in stock? I mean, this kind of high end, like exotic stuff, it's just allocated. It's just the way it is. You know, it's like the Poison Ultima rods. You got them, but when you don't have them, when are you going to get them? Well, not sure. But they're in stock. We got good quantities on them, and they're $529.99 for the 25 and the 3, $539.99 for the 4. which for a primo reel like this is not outlandish at all.
No.
And I know I listen to the questions that I get, and I just like to go kind of every once in a while, just kind of go down that path of, this is in response to the questions we get.
Yeah, it's quality stuff.
We get a lot of questions about high-end JDM tackle. So,
and that's what that was for years, was a JDM reel, and then they brought it over to the U.S. market this year.
Yep. Which it's easier said than done to bring. This is here's something interesting that you'll find, that you never thought about. Just to bring these reels over here, first of all, the packaging has to be redone to USA packaging. The various laws we have over here, like Proposition 65, which is the bounty hunting lawyers in California that sue everybody that has any semblance of lead in any product that could possibly contact water. All that has to be labeled up for that. But here's a really cool thing that you need to know. When they, when you say to yourself, well, why don't they just bring this reel over? Well, here's the deal. Once they do that, they have to maintain a full set of parts for 5 years after they stop bringing it over here. So there's some serious commitment to bringing these reels over. And the Vanquish, finally got through that because of the requests. So it's a great reel. It's a cool reel. If you're techie, if you're an enthusiast on your product like that, and check this out. How badass would this bad boy look on the new Zodius?
Oh, the blacked out Zodius with a blacked out.
Well, we're going to find out.
Well, how light's that going to be? Jeez.
How's that?
Wow.
I mean, that's like pretty badass right there.
That is.
I brought that rod up just to put that reel on there, just for this wow moment. So there's the new Zodius
That's a wow
B,
there, George.
which we talked about briefly the other night. We're going to get into these. There's like 30 models coming. We only got 3 just to have a few here for last weekend's event, because we had like all the Shimano people here. They wanted to have a couple rods. So check that out. Oh boy.
While supplies last in the shop here, we got some A's here still. So on special, we're blowing those out in here. If you're looking for A or want to get into the Zodius line, you can come in here and get the blowout special on the A series. A few left in here.
Well, and speaking of that, if you are a G Loomis IMX fan, just like the NFL no tampering period, we just left the G Loomis no tampering period. The IMX Pro is getting a facelift. There's new models. There is increased MBR models, which are fast taper. There are new spinning models, really interesting new models. They're all going to a split grip except for the MBRs. So you're going to have a split grip on all your jig and worms, all your drop shots. There is expanded models. Let's just put it that way. Now we're going to have to get deep in the weeds, SFT style, on these when they show up. There's going to be a box coming through the door with an invoice that's going to make Mike take large amounts of heartburn medication. But here's the deal. While supplies last, and we probably have 30, 40 rods in stock, 25% off IMX Pro. In shop only, unfortunately, for you online phone people. Although we could probably work something out with you if you're willing to pay a little shipping. Give us a call. But yeah, 25% off. I know Mike Barr came in here today and got in on the game. picked himself up a nice 812 spinnerbait rod, which he's pretty proud of. And we're gonna be talking IMX now this weekend during Trout Saturday Extravaganza Power Bait Saturday. I'm gonna be here drinking black coffee and talking flipping and bass fishing. So, if you need juiced up on that, I'm your boy. Okay, and I'll have IMXs, and I'll be just slinging IMXs. I'm gonna be slinging IMXs and slinging Zodiuses on Saturday.
Oh yeah,
just straight slinging.
Straight slinging.
I'm gonna look like a corner boy on a Baltimore corner.
Oh yeah.
So that's what we got going on for your Tackle Talk, abbreviated version, simply because we got too much other stuff to do. We got Bassmasters Classic to talk about, and then we want to talk about the pre-spawn period on the world's greatest smallmouth river. And that, my friends, is not open to discussion.
Yeah. Well, good. Yeah, that was short and sweet, but it was good. Good coverage of some good stuff right there. And you can get all this stuff online at sfttackle.com. You can check it out and read about it, get some more information on it on our website at any time. I think we should do Rig of the Week.
Oh, yeah. I got a weird one for you this week.
Well, I thought last week was weird.
Well, it was, but this one's going to be along the same lines.
All right.
What I wanted to do this week was talk to you about rigging quickies, but I'm not prepared.
Yeah.
I'm not prepared. I had too much going on the last couple of days. So next week, we're going to do
everything for them things.
Full-blown.
Yeah.
Quickie / shake 'em up.
Yeah.
Rig. We're going to show at least 5 different ways to rig them. And we're going to just tear that apart. Tonight, we're going to do something that was a spinoff of Alex Davis's flipping seminar and something that we've been getting a lot of questions on.
Cool.
And the rig of the week is going to be another knot.
All right.
So you need to bring that camera in here because we need a close-up.
Well, as you guys all know, and for some of you new guys, Rig of the Week is sponsored by Nomad Designs, makers of great crankbaits, hard baits, soft baits. You're going to see some of those things, flying around here for your forward-facing. They have a great forward-facing line of baits, the Live Op series. And then also our boy Greg DePalma designed a wee bit jig with them, which is probably one of the finest finesse jigs that we've ever seen and ever fished. It's a finesse style with a power kind of edge to it. And, the machete, which is a great swim jig. So Nomad Designs, Nomad Tackle. These are the guys that are sponsoring this event. And what I mean by sponsoring is that they give out a $25 SFT gift card to the SFT or to sfttackle.com. So you can spend it in the shop here, or we can get you one for online. And the winner of that is you have to put in your in the comments, and Nick's, thank God Nick's here because he has to explain it again for everybody. Nomad Designs, Nick.
Oh yeah, how you enter is you comment below by tagging Nomad Designs at Nomad Designs. You like and you share the post.
Yep.
And you're in.
You're in.
Yep.
And last week's winner. Well, who put in last week? So this week's winner of the $25 gift card to Susquehanna Fishing Tackle is Jay Duke. Jay Duke is the winner of the $25 Nomad Designs gift card for SFT Tackle.
Yeah.
Jay, if you're listening, congratulations, buddy.
Outstanding.
Great that you won that. Get a hold of us, or we'll get a hold of you somehow. But we will make it happen. Woo! You bet. We will get it to you. Congratulations, Jay Duke. Anybody knows Jay Duke, make sure you tell him that he's a winner.
Winner.
And if he can get a hold of us, we'll get a hold of him because we have his connections too. All right, George, what is the rig of the week?
Okay, so I get asked a lot of questions about this all the time. I should say we do. But it ramped up a little bit with the visit from Alex Davis last week. So, he's like, what do you want me to do my seminars on? Because he's a great, fantastic, amazing seminar speaker.
Yeah, he's unbelievable.
A supremely talented bass angler, full-time guide on Gunnersville. You set the hook a lot.
Yeah.
You dial in your game a lot. I said, well, you got, last time you were here, you did a chatterbait seminar that just
knocked it out of the park.
Shook the core of chatterbait fishing.
Yeah.
This time I need you to do that, and then I need you to do a frogging and a flipping because of your frogging performance up on Mississippi River.
Yep.
In the Bass Pro Tour tournament. So we got through that, and then, of course, it reignited the how to tie a flipping jig up, a flipping hook up with a Snell knot, which is like mysterious thing to a lot of people. So I have the easy Snell knot, which I've showed a few times on the show here.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't that long ago we went over not really the knot, but the rig.
Mm-hmm.
This time we're going to go over the knot in detail. So let's see if we can get a close-up on this because, I don't know if that thing goes microscopic.
It gets pretty close.
Because we need to see how to tie this knot. So here's the deal. And these are the key ingredients. You're going to take, and I got fluorescent green braid here so you can help see it. You always go through on the point side of the hook. So if, the point side, you don't go through on this side. You go through on the point side of the hook. Okay. And give yourself some line to work with. Don't shortchange yourself. And then make a loop.
Overhand loop.
Just an overhand loop. Now, I always keep the loop on one side of the hook. So if you can see the hook here, the loop is on this side of the hook. All right? And I'm just going to, I'll probably just close that up a little bit. Pretty simple.
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward.
Through the point
Hold it
side,
here.
overhand loop.
Take your tag in and go through the loop.
And over the shank of the hook.
And around the hook. And, there's usually on these hooks, this is a Hayabusa FPP flipping hook. There's usually like a fluorocarbon keeper and a barb, and you got to kind of navigate that a little bit. So you're going to go, you want to be on top of all those barbs and keepers and everything. Make your second one through there. And then just stack them up. It's real easy to do. This is thick braid, 50, 65. Don't ever punch with less than 50, ever. 65 or 50. Go through, around the hook shank. Use this finger, kind of guide it. Take your time, stack it up. See, my knot is stacking up real nice. It's going to be so easy to tie. And we're going to do that again. And we're going to do that again. I like to get 5 or 6 wraps. Okay? I like to get 5 or 6 wraps. So now you have your main line. Okay, you have your wraps, which you can see right there. Right? You have your loop. It's all on one side of the hook. Now, it's so simple. You're just going to pull this end.
The main line. The main line end.
See it pulling up?
Not the tag, but the main line.
And voila. The Snell knot is tied. Trim this off.
Now, zoom in on that knot, Nick, and get a good hold that out there, George, so they can.
Did a terrible job trimming that. So that's like 5 wraps. I normally do 5 or 6. You can do as many wraps as you want. That doesn't really change anything. You get 5 or 6, you're good. You feel like putting 7 on there, go for it. I have literally never, ever, ever, ever had this knot slip or fail. And this knot tied in this manner was taught to me by JT Kenny. He showed me how to tie this knot after I lost a few fish with a different hook and a different knot. And from that day on, when the money's on the line, that's how I flip. Now, an interesting side note is if you're a wide gap guy and not a straight shank guy, it also works on that. And you get literally the same results. But the hookup percentage with the straight shank, is better. And you just have to choose the right hook. That's a 4.0 Hayabusa.
It's not only better, it's like way better. Right?
Well,
when it comes to punching, I'm talking just punching.
Put it this way. It's the way to go. I think you're at a disadvantage with a wide gap hook.
Okay.
Punching.
All right. Here's another question. Here's another way to putting it. Is it because the knot is stronger?
I'm beginning to feel like Jack Nicholson on stage, whether or not I ordered a code red.
Or is it hookup percentage, or is it the strength of the knot that is the reason why all these guys tie it?
Yeah, so
it is that?
Yeah, so here's what happens. When your sinker gets slammed down against that knot, or when you set the hook, and that sinker can kick off that knot, it kicks up. As opposed to having a knot on top of the eye of the hook.
And then
it doesn't kick up.
Right.
Now, I don't know, is that the reason for the better hookup ratio, or is it the line of pull? We always talk about the line of pull.
There you go. Now you're getting somewhere.
On these hooks, like where you're pulling in a straight line.
You
right?
Well, that's what I was getting at. What I'm getting at there is, what I understand about this knot is it puts more pressure on the point of the hook, on the hook set, because you're pulling on the shank of the hook.
I know from practical experience, the hookup percentage when you're flipping and punching thick cover with this hook is better.
Yeah.
Now, you got to look around for your proper hook for your proper situation. Like cameraman Nick was just down in Florida a couple weeks ago, punching Hyacinth Matt. They caught it 8. You need the proper hook for that. Okay.
Oh yeah, I went heavy duty.
Yeah, you need the proper hook for that. Okay.
Yep.
But if you and I were fishing that little backwater on the river that we fished last spring, where we caught 50 largemouths and the biggest one was 3 pounds, that's more than enough hook.
Right.
So I like to match the hook and the rod. Although I have flipped clump grass with an EWG snelled. The one downside to the straight shanked hook, okay, it has nothing to do with catching fish. This is the hook to hook fish. When the money's on the line, I Carolina rig with a straight shank hook. I flip with a straight shank hook. These are what I call high maintenance hooks. So your bait is tearing out a lot. Every hook set, you're splitting the head of that bait. So you need a lot of baits.
Yeah.
Now, I kind of look at it like, I don't care how many baits I go through if I'm catching fish. It doesn't bother me. Okay.
Yeah.
In some instances you can use like a Z-Man type plastic and minimize that.
Yeah.
Whatever. I never heard anybody bitch about catching a pile of fish and having a big mound of torn up baits on the floor of their boat.
Yeah.
It's usually a badge of.
Well, we bitch about running out of them.
Well, yeah, but it's
especially if you have
color.
If you're there for 3 days and day one, you run out of 12 3 bags of baits and you're out.
Michael Bradley asked a great question. Is there any advantage using the Snell knot on an EWG for pitching sports cover? I'm just going to tell you from years of doing that, yes. When I'm pitching clump grass, I Snell my EWG hook, which in certain circumstances, I like an EWG hook, and I Snell it. Mm-hmm. Now, I will tell you this snelling is not just for braid. I Snell with fluorocarbon also.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
absolutely.
This is an easy knot to tie, and what I want to stress is, especially all the saltwater fishermen that are on right now, you guys that grew up with your dads taking you saltwater fishing and you learned saltwater fishing, you old guys, I shouldn't say old, but you guys that learned at a young age from an older salt, you snelled your hook. Mm-hmm. I know you snelled your hook, and you probably all have a different way of snelling it. And I'm just here to tell you, all methods of snelling are good. I'm an advocate of this knot. I literally took my flipping stick and my hook and my sinker, and I walked over to JT's boat after a day when we were fishing we were talking to each other all day. And I almost won a Toyota, and I lost the fish that kept me from winning it in front of him. And I went over his boat, and I'm like, I normally would never do this, but I need some help here. And he took my hook and he threw it in the trash in his boat. And he said, that hook's garbage. And he gave me a straight shanked hook, and he taught me that knot. And I cut it off and retied it in front of him to confirm it. And I went on to just from that day on. And I'm telling you,
yeah, made a big difference.
And for everybody that asks,
makes a big difference.
A lot of these knots and rigs can be in your head confusing. They're not. Like next week, we're going to show some rigs. We're going to do some adding split rings and adding swivels and cutting wire. It's going to be simple for you. But you got to know how to do it. Yeah,
and you should practice a couple of them at home. And the big problem is making sure you come through point side when you originally start. Point side is the deal with that. That's what kicks that hook. That's that if you start back on the backside, you're already screwed.
Let's do it one more time and wrap this up.
Yeah.
Mike's bringing in the camera. We're going to do a Snell knot on a flipping hook for you one more time. And then you guys are going to go forth and have tremendous success with this. So we got your flipping hook. I'm using the Hayabusa FPP. I really like this hook. Point side. Okay. We're going down through the eye. Okay. We're going to make a loop, which is just that simple. I'm going to get my line and my fingers all positioned here. I'm going to tighten my loop down. Okay. So just to clarify, my loop is on one side of the hook away from me. I'm holding everything together. I'm going to go around the hook shank through the loop. Okay. And I'm stacking the wraps from top to bottom. That's how I do it. Around. Second. And the third. And I stack them up so they pull up nice and clean. The fourth. The fifth. And let's just do 6. Okay. Step 2 is complete. You with me, Mike? Grab your main line. Pull it up. See the loop getting smaller? See the loop getting smaller? See the tag end get pulled under? Trim it. Bingo. The Snell knot. Ladies and gentlemen, this will improve your flipping bite to catch ratio. So, any questions? As usual, if you have any questions, I'll one-on-one you. You feel free to call. Feel free to stop by. Whatever. We'll walk you through it. We do it all the time. You know, that's what we do here. You guys, I know you don't hesitate to ask because I'll get 20 calls in this tomorrow. I'll have 20 people stop by or whatever, whatever that is. And I'm happy for that.
Yeah. No, that's all good. But practicing that at home and while you're watching Tackle Shop Live is not a bad thing. Make sure you practice it and get yourself familiar with it so that when you're out on the water and you're like, what do you want? Point side, back side? You do it a couple times, you'll get used to it. So
Nomad rig of the week was a knot 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Next week, we are going to do 3 to 5 different ways to rig what you want to call whatever, the koiki, the whatever. I don't know what it's called.
The dice bait.
It's not really a dice bait. It's a
well, I mean,
we have dice.
We're probably gonna do all of it. Dice and
well, we're gonna show rigging for dice and for koiki, but I don't know what we call the koiki. Because we sell the koiki and we also sell the Skinny Bear Shake 'em Up.
Yeah.
Which is essentially the same thing. Now I will say this.
So you have like dice with living rubber and you have injected.
I will say this. You might want to check out maybe tomorrow. You might want to keep an eyeball on the website because the next load of Shake 'em Ups might hit tomorrow. It should hit tomorrow. And it's a big one. And then 2 to 3 weeks. I just got an update from Spro, who distributes Hide Up. 2 to 3 weeks. So generally just figure 3 weeks, 21 days, beginning of April.
Big load of
koiki. So I mean, I know you guys are looking for them. The phone's ringing off the hook. You bought every single Hide 'em Up we had in like
2 hours,
faster than we could pull them.
And then you said tomorrow is when this other batches.
Hopefully
tomorrow.
I didn't get tracking on it, but he said it was going to probably be here tomorrow.
Okay.
The 19 millimeters. We have some 10 millimeters.
Yeah.
So that's that. Okay. Enough said.
John, this is the Spro ceramic scissor, which is exceptional. Now it's not cutting real well for George now because we used this for 2 years. That is BS. 3 years?
No. The problem with you guys is you can't have nice things.
What?
I put all these really nice scissors out at the line winder.
Yeah.
And I look around and all you guys are cutting boxes open with them, trimming freaking cardboard. I mean, straight up just mauling fine equipment.
But honestly, this pair right here is 2 years old. So
around here, it could be 2 weeks old and ruined.
And here we cut thousands and thousands and thousands of tag ends with this right here. It's all day, every day for all those times. So we're really impressed with this. This lasted longer than a lot of our scissors. And the other one we really like is the what's the other one we like?
The
Cuda. Cuda
micro
scissors. They're really good.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, they're really good. So those two are really are really, really good.
Yeah. So but they're not good for cutting cardboard boxes open. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
That's what happens to them.
Yep.
All right. Now, on to the Bassmasters Classic.
Yep.
Which starts tomorrow.
Exciting.
Well, I mean, we're going to have some bets going, wagers, if you will. Now, here's what we're doing here at the shop, people. Just to bring you into our world for a hot minute. We are picking 3 anglers, and the lowest number of their finishes, so first, third, fifth, that would be a 9, wins between our crew. And ties are broken by the weight. Closest to it without going over. And we've been, as a team here, we've been having a lot of fun with this. So you might want to get with your crew, get with your people.
So three anglers, and then a total weight, and then you add the 3 anglers up, how they finish, and the lowest number wins. If there's a tie, you go by the weight.
That's part 1 of our Bassmasters discussion. Part 2, I got a little surprise for you and Nick. Yes. Henceforth, the abbreviated tackle talk.
Well, first of all, the weather down there has been really, really kind of weird. They had the 2 days we had here really super warm weather. They had a week of it down there, prior to tournament week, and it warmed things up crazy down there. And then last night they got the cold front that came in.
They had water temperatures in the creeks and backwaters in the mid to upper 60s.
Yeah.
And river temperature, main river, in 58.
Yeah.
That's go time.
And
then last night it was cold and raining.
And cold rain. Massive cold rain. I like this,
though, because we want to see, we don't want it to be easy for these guys.
Yeah.
We want it to be, you got to work for it.
Yeah. Absolutely. I like the tricky conditions. And you listen to these guys talking, you do all the interviews and listen to them talk. It's great, man. Some of the stuff they're coming up with.
Hey, George, I got to ask you a question. So I heard you talking about we're going to be picking anglers. Now, I know Mike's process of picking anglers because I seen that live. Now, what goes into your process? Do you go off of history? Do you go off of what?
Well, I'm consider myself a bit of a sports handicapper over the years. Informational purposes only. Okay. I mean, just nothing, no wagering or anything like that. But what I did was I looked at the last 2 classics here. But the last 2 classics here were in March. Well, it's March now, but it was a cold March. It was a normal March. It was the one may even have been the end of February. I mean, it was that close. And that's a different scenario, right? We didn't have this kind of weather. So you factor that. And I looked at those weights, 49.3 for Ott Defoe, 42.7 for Gussie. And keep in mind, Gussie's tournament was even more difficult than Ott's tournament, which was difficult. What Ott did there was mastery. What Gussie did was mastery. So if you don't remember, Gussie started the craze but he highlighted the craze of what he called moping, which, is essentially hover strolling or tight lining a minnow on a jig head through suspended fish that you located with 2D sonar. And then you would target your casts and sort of semi walk it down through there on a bit of a pendulum, if you will.
Yeah.
And, as good as we have scopers back then, particularly in the Highland Lakes of Tennessee, where this technique was strong, they called it the Demiki rig.
Yep.
And the reason they called it the Demiki rig is the Demiki Tackle Company built specialized jig head and minnow for it that worked exceptionally well. So what's interesting is Gussie grew up fishing that way.
Mm-hmm.
And so he won. He only weighed 2 fish on the last day. And everybody thinks he caught all these fish in that canal that connects the 2 lakes. He didn't. He only caught a couple fish there, but he won.
Mm-hmm.
Those smallmouth in both those tournaments had to be 18 inches. So these guys, Defoe and Gussie, in their classics, were catching 17 3/4 inch, 3.5 pound smallies and turning them back.
Boy, that's hurtful.
That's not the case now. Now we're looking at a 15-inch limit. So now 15-inch, 2 1/4, 16-inch, 3-pounder, 17-inch, 3.5 to 3 3/4 going in the box. So I factored that in. Then I looked at the weather. Okay. We just discussed that. I also looked at the weather on tournament day, which I'm going to share with you. 66 degrees tomorrow. Southwest winds 15 to 25, partly cloudy. Okay, then I looked into the fact that there's 2 lakes in play here. What I didn't tell you was I fished them. And guys are making the run to the farther away lake. That's a long run in 15. It's a long run. It's a real long run when it's blowing 15 to 25.
How far is the run, George?
What's all said and done, round trip, it's going to leave you with about 4 hours of fishing time.
That's a big factor.
It's a gamble.
What,
But
they running a Teleco or Loudon?
I can't remember. It's kind of like that video where Onum was like he went to pre-fish a lake that he fished a tournament on. Like, I can't remember if it's Teleco, Loudon, or Loudon Teleco.
Well, from where they're launching, because
I don't remember.
You can launch from one end to the other.
So the far lake is clear. So henceforth, those guys are what we refer to as either sight fishermen or scopers, right?
Yeah.
And they're hoping those fish are backed off on them bait balls again. So I factored that in. Then day 2, we have 73-degree high, light wind, sunny.
Yeah.
Warming up, bringing those fish up, keeping those shallow fish and making them happy.
Yep.
Day 3, 76 degrees, clouds 10 to 15. And gentlemen, when we have cold fronts in March and we have winter type weather, what do we talk about the weather? What are we looking for?
Warming trend.
3 consecutive days.
Yep.
Looked at that. And then my final thing was the anglers. I looked for the Tennessee hammers. There's one. I looked for scopers.
There's a
I
ton
looked
of them.
for shallow guys. And here's what I came up with, fellas. I narrowed it down to 4, but I can only pick 3.
Yep.
I'm going to leave one of my favorite anglers on the bench for my draw.
Yeah.
No disrespect to this man, but I'm going to go with Patrick Waters, who's on a hot hand, who is the best of both worlds. He's one of the best scopers out there. He's also one of the best shallow water guys. I'm going to go with Tucker Smith, hot hand. He's won. If it has more than $100,000 in it, he would like to have that to go with his 500,000, 300,000, $500,000 splitting with his buddy. So he's just all in. He's a closer. Okay, he's a 20-something-year-old closer. All right. And then my sleeper, the guy I think is going to win it, by the way, is Brandon Lester, who's a phenomenal angler, and he is
Tennessee boy.
And George,
he knows it.
How do you envision him winning it on the shore, on the bank?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. He's going to be doing the big 4.
What weight are you going with?
56.3.
56.3 for 3 days.
That's right.
I have to recalculate mine.
So I'm going to write me down in the book here. And next
I
up
forgot it
is
was
going to
3
be
days.
cameraman Nick.
Oh yeah, this is the winner.
Oh, I like the confidence, bro.
Oh yeah. So
Did you just pick yours, Nick, or did you actually?
I did about what you did.
Yeah.
But I'm still confident though. I'm still
Okay.
very
Well, I
confident.
know. Yeah.
I did mine on the clock, though. I did mine on company time.
That's the way to do it, George. I like.
Well,
your
I mean,
style.
I'm not going to lie to you. I closed the office door. I looked like I was deep into a buying cycle,
right.
you know, because I'm buried. I'm 2 weeks behind right now. But I said, you know what, self, worked pretty hard this week. You know, you got to get you some. So I just took a minute.
Hey, yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Now, okay. Now, the first person I'm going to say here, I am not picking, but I'm going to say I would like this person to win, but I'm not picking them. And that's who is it, George? The Nation.
Oh, Noah Winslow.
I would like Noah Winslow to win.
And I got to tell you, bro,
Yeah.
it pained me. Okay, I left Brian Schmidt on the bench.
Yeah.
I went too.
And I'm a Brian Schmidt fan like you can't freaking believe.
Plus, they said he came in second place the last time they were there in the
He
classic.
did.
And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a Noah Winslow fan
Me
like
too.
you can't believe. Noah Winslow is like, I'm telling you right now, the kid's a prodigy. And it paid me not to take him. But you know what? You got to fall down before you can stand up.
Right. But we're rooting for him.
Oh,
Well, we had one guy already win a Federation guy win the classic.
Yep.
There was one Federation guy who ever won the classic. So it can happen again.
You're
it
absolutely
will
right.
happen again.
Yeah.
So we're rooting for him, but here's my list. First person I'm going with is Corey Johnston. You talked about being a closer. I think both Johnstons are closers, but I'm going to go with Corey. This
Oh, they
time.
are closers.
They're ice in their veins.
I mean,
ready
they're
to
ice
go.
hockey
Yeah.
players.
Yep.
Yeah.
They will put you on the boards.
Absolutely. The next person I'm going with, and I think he's due, is Trey McKinney. I just think he's due for everything.
That would be a great win. And the reason I would like him to win it is to shut everybody the hell up.
Yep. He's good at everything.
He really is.
Yep.
He really is.
And the next person I'm going to pick, I just like this kid, Fisher Anaya. That's who I'm going with.
That is nothing what you said in Pre-Tackle Shop Live.
I changed it
He's a
up.
sandbagger, bro.
I'm telling you,
I
he
gave
was.
you the list I gave the set lock for his.
He's a sandbagger, bro.
You got all this
I
stuff
did
flying
put Corey
around.
Johnson in there, but the other two guys are.
No, Corey, you rode over, but all these other ones not even close to what you said.
Well, you know what?
You threw me off. You threw me off the
I threw
thing
you
over
right
here.
off there, right
You
off
need to
there.
pick your own team.
I got my own team
And
picked.
as far as weight is concerned, I'm going with 49 pounds, even.
Wow, the second lowest weight.
Yeah,
So 49.3, 42.7. You're going below 49.3.
I'm going to go
Wait,
49.
who picked 42.7?
No, I'm telling you the past weights there.
Who had-
Oh.
Oh yeah, because who had 42.7? That was Gustafson.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh.
that ain't going to happen this time. 42.
No.
That's my
Neither's
picks.
49.
And the reason why I picked my picks is because I believe that Trey and Corey, even if it is not a forward-facing deal, they'll both be good no matter what. And Fisher Anaya, he's on a hot streak, so we'll just
He's
go with
hot.
him.
He's
Yep.
good. He's on it. All right, Mike.
All right.
Let it rip, Tater Chip.
Well, I gave it a tense thought, and I can do the research that George did in 3 days. I can do in 7.5 minutes before the show. And but no, honestly, I kind of thought about it all week long, and I'm still kind of throwing things around here. So you're gonna write the final list down. And I think the kid's going to win it is going to be Fisher Anaya.
Okay.
I honestly do. The kid, he's another one of them prodigy guys. You know what I mean? Just crazy. He's a closer. He's a fierce competitor.
Absolutely.
I listened to him talk, and I listened to his dad. You know, his dad's a competitor. You know, his dad's like they're just two really super competitive guys, and he's going out for the jugglers on this one. I guarantee you.
Hey, Mike, real quick. I know what George is thinking over there. He's like, So if Fisher and I does bad, I just took both them right out of.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I don't wish bad on anybody, but I could be carrying the Tackle Shop Live trophy easy.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick with my list here. I was going to switch it up here.
Well, you ain't switching Anaya up because
No.
he's down on the.
No, I'm definitely taking Anaya, but one that I was going to take and I'm not, George, is for the shallow water bite. And I think it's a really bad decision on my part. Matter of fact, I'm going to take him. Number 2, I'm taking Drew Cook.
Good pick.
Shallow water, sight fishing master. If those fish go up day 2 and day 3 after they pull back, I think he has a great chance of winning. And plus, I like the Drews, man.
You like him. I know you do.
I like those guys. Do you ever watch their show?
It's a great show.
I just like those guys. And they're hardcore freaking fishermen, and they do it for a living, and they know how to fish for a living.
They do.
And that's what I like about them. They fish for a living, and they know how to fish for a living. And if you don't think they don't go for a juggler, they do. They go for a juggler too. And then the last guy I'm going to go with, I'm going to have to cut one of my guys out here, as I think I'm going to go with Will Davis Jr. He's a river guy. He kind of understands that system, that river system stuff. He understands dams and how they run. And he's from down in that area. So he understands it, I think, a little bit. And he's just a good fisherman.
He's a closer too.
He's a closer. And
Big time.
He's a really good fisherman. So I'm going to take Will Davis Jr. And my weight's going to be 54.6.
Ooh, I like this.
Yep.
Well, there you have the Tackle Shop Live picks.
Well, hold on. You can't go over, right?
Weight?
Yeah.
Well, we're using the weight as a tiebreaker.
Weight as a tiebreaker.
Yeah.
And it can't go over.
And it can't go over.
Okay.
And I have Mike out of his team. He's got Anaya to win it. I have Brandon Lester to win it, and you have McKinney to win it.
And you know what's cool about all of our teams? Let's face it. These guys are all the best of the best.
They are.
That there is.
Yeah.
And any of these guys could win. Anybody that we didn't pick could win. It's so hard.
And that's the thing, somebody can get on a hot little thing, and it could be anybody. Any of these guys could capitalize on that.
Who came up short on your list there, Mike?
Well, the guy that I really wanted to go with too was Tyler Williams.
Oh, I like Tyler.
I like Tyler Williams. Yeah. Really like him. But I had a list that I was working on. But I had Brian Schmidt on that list. I had Kyle Welcher. Kyle Welcher's really good. I had him. So I had Chris Johnson on my list. I cut out a lot of stuff.
George, what's the prize here?
Oh, the standard.
Nice.
Standard wager.
We like that prize.
Yep. Dozen wings, all you can eat, all you can drink.
I like them Old Bay. Where they hot Old Bay.
Hot Old Bays.
Oh, they're good.
Oh yeah, they're good.
The losers pay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we're gonna start watching the tournament tomorrow.
Yep.
That's our picks.
Yep.
And that's our preview.
Yeah.
But now, guys,
Exciting.
I would like to transfer into the remaining time we have and talk about, a place that is near and dear to our hearts, and that is the Susquehanna River, year round, but particularly in pre-spawn. It's a famous fishery. There is numerous guides that are booked up for 2 or 3 months back to back to back in pre-spawn and spawn. We run a ton of trips during that time frame, and with good reason. The fishing's great. The fish are tough.
I think it's one of the greatest times of the year.
Oh, there's
the pre-spawn on the Susquehanna River is
tremendous.
I think it's the greatest time of the year.
Is it on the river? You guys know better than anybody. Is it the greatest time of year for the big ones?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's the greatest time for big fish, and I think it's the greatest time for numbers of fish, and all mixed together. It's I just don't know of anything better, honestly.
Well, and the other thing I really like about it, guys, and me, I love variety. The pre-spawn period on this river, I mean, you can have rods rigged up with so many different techniques. I mean, it's like for me, I launched a boat this time of the year. I have 2 to 3 crankbait rods tied up. I have a square bill. I have a usually like a DT8 or something in that neighborhood, rock crawler or what have you. 2 jerkbait rods, maybe 3 jerkbait rods.
3.
Yeah, seriously.
So that's 6 rods.
My number's 30. I'm just going to go right to the end. Finesse wise, I mean, I'm going to have a Ned rig tied up. I'm going to have a tube tied up. I might even have a little tiny tube tied up, depending on, conditions. These fish react crazy. I'm going to have a 15-pound test on a medium heavy flipping rod with a compact jig. But my point is,
There's a lot of stuff going on.
I mean, I didn't even get into mag drafts, glide baits,
Chatter wagons,
multiple chatterbait rods. I mean, my point is, to me, that's fun.
Yeah.
To me, that's fun. And here's the other thing about it. If I can have the stage for another minute, water levels. If you understand the water levels, the river like opens and closes to you. Where I can go, where I can't go, where I will catch fish, where I won't catch fish, where I might catch fish. But even on, the river is so diverse. Even on, like, let's say the east side is just mud. You can catch fish in that mud.
Oh, yeah.
And you can catch hammers in that mud. You just got to know what, when, and where. So a typical day in the pre-spawn and the spawn, you'll have one side of the river mud, one side of the river clear, and then you got varying levels in between. Well, that's a big tackle swing. Henceforth, all the different techniques. You know what I'm saying, Mike?
Well, I mean, one minute you're fishing a green water, and you're using, colors and blade colors and certain things for that kind of water. And then you siphon out to the middle water, which is stained. Now it's stained, and you got to run that pattern to see if they're, if those fish are the aggressive fish for the day. And then you go all the way over to the east side to check some big fish spots that and you got a whole nother line of baits. So I mean, it's
fun.
It's a lot of fun, but it's a good time of year to have a lot of rods rigged up. But I think to your point, George, is with river level. Typically in the spring, we have elevated river levels, and it kind of goes up pretty high. It might stays there, seems like a little bit longer. The last couple of years it hasn't, but usually in the spring, water goes up and it kind of stays there a little longer. It drops out a little bit slower. It's not that summertime thing where it pops up and then 2 days later it's back down to where it was. It's just a much slower move. But the higher water makes it easier to catch these fish. That higher water puts them in these areas, and it stacks them up, and you have these days that are just spectacular once you figure your pattern out. And as the water drops out, it's a little easier to track them and follow and find them, because they don't scatter. They move, but they move in groups. They group out into kind of. I was catching them there. The water dropped a foot. Now I just got to go this way out until I find them. And then you can have great fishing out there too, so it's just a matter of it's just fun with the higher water. It's easier, it puts the fish together, it groups them up. Where they're going, you know where a lot of these fish are going. So you can just kind of, there's point A, there's where they're going, and then you can figure something out in between.
And Mike, so as the water's higher, and then you're moving out when the water lowers, do your tactics or techniques change, or are you using the same stuff, just relocating those?
No, that changes a lot.
Really?
It changes a lot. George loves the high water. He's a great jig fisherman on the river. Fishes at finesse jig, and that high water is a lot of fun. And it's kind of cool because we fish what we call pockets, and I talk about this a lot, and it's never more true than in the springtime. Is when you're fishing higher water and the water is kind of on the rise or holding steady, those pockets along the bank become really, really critical. Getting into that pocket, the higher the water, the more it's harder to fish that pocket because it's, the water is now flooding out bushes and sticks and trees and all kinds of stuff. So you gotta be able to fish that. And George and I have a lot of techniques that we use and a lot of rigs that we use on our baits to be able to fish in there. Because honestly, when George and I go down the bank, we're fishing fish that nobody throws to, because it's so high and back in there and so far back in. A lot of these guys won't throw back in it because they're going to get hung up. So we're fishing a lot of these fish that are back in that stuff. But anyway, those little pockets, you can find them along the bank. It's so much fun just going down there and picking a bank apart, little tiny pocket, how it have 1-2 fish in it. A little bit bigger pocket might have 3-4 fish in it. And two things are happening. Number one is the water's warmer because it's up high on the bank. It's back in there. It's shallower. The sun's beating on it a little bit more, and it warms up. So that's temperature. And number two, it's clarity, because as that water goes in those pockets, the current isn't flowing and mixing it, and the sediment is falling out. So you get a little bit of a shade difference. And those fish like that. The bait fish goes in there and they can see the bait fish better, and they chase them around in that real shallow pocket water. So that's a lot of fun for us, and we love that kind of stuff. Would you agree, George?
Oh, that's a lot of fun. I think it's what I'd like to talk about is water levels. For example, I would highly recommend all of you who would like to expand your Susquehanna river fishing to take some time with your phone, which you're on 20, 25, 30 times a day. Instead of scrolling through social media, sit down and go on the National Weather Service and search the Susquehanna River water levels and put together a series of gauges. Okay, now this is one of the best fishing tips that I think you can learn about river fishing. Save your gauges. So, for example, I have on my phone, I have my favorite 2 gauges for the river, because I fish predominantly from like Sunbury at the confluence down to the Chesapeake Bay. I do go up both branches, but not quite as often. And I have my gauges up there. Don't get me wrong. I have my North Branch gauge that I use. I have my West Branch gauge that I use. But you should be consistent on your gauge. And you should make notes. So my Harrisburg gauge, I know when the river's at 4 foot, 5 foot, 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot, 9 foot. It tells me a lot. And then I look at all my major feeder creeks in the area that I'm going to fish, or if I'm near the Juniata River, and I have my favorite Juniata gauge. My point is, whatever gauge you choose, be consistent with it. And when you're done fishing for the day, take a minute and put some notes down, because you can't remember all this. We're talking 6-8 gauges. Days after days after days. You need to know, hey, at 4-5, this is where I want to be. At 5-8, this is where I want to be. At 7-8, this is where I want to be. And your gauges will give you a forecast also, guys. And they'll look out 2-3 days. And it's a forecast. Mm-hmm. It's not set in stone. The bigger the rise, the bigger the flood event. I won't say flood's probably not the right word, but the bigger the impact, the less accurate that forecast is. So if they say the river's going to jump from 6 foot to 10 foot, it's probably gonna settle in a foot or so below that, depending on the severity of the event that causes it and where. And on that time,
you learn that over time. That exactly what you're saying.
that's why you write it down.
Yeah, you learn that on certain events that, oh yeah, okay, they're calling for 10, but we kind of understand with that event that it's going to be a little bit lower. And
well, yeah, I mean, you have to know
that's just doing it forever.
Kind of like the history of what's going on that spring.
Yeah.
Was there a lot of snow melt? Was there a big snowpack? Did we have a lot of rain for a long period of time in the whole drainage? But here's what I want you to guys to take and really focus on. The Susquehanna River is 444 miles long. Okay. It drains a massive area.
Mm-hmm.
So it can rain for 3 days in Binghamton, New York, and be beautiful picnic weather where you live. And if you're not paying attention to your gauge, your day off, you could screw yourself because you're like, man, last week, the river, we killed them. Oh my God, it was beautiful. Everything was perfect. No rain all week. It's going to be great. The rain that falls where you live does not affect the river from where you live north. It runs downhill, which is south. B, it can rain in Binghamton. It can rain in Williamsport. It can rain in the central part of the state on the New York line. Guess who's getting the water? We are. And it can be a 4, 5, 6 foot rise. So learn your gauges and pay attention to them. Like, I know how I'm going to begin to address today. Right. And I know if my north branch goes crazy, I know what my water's going to look like. So
very important.
It gives you a starting point.
Yeah, but
it's a starting point.
It's so freaking important to have that knowledge and learn that knowledge that you should do exactly what he said. That is so important. Because, in the springtime, Nick, we're always dealing with movement of fish, where the fish are, when the water's high and it's cold and it's, we're coming out of that ice out, which we're in right now, those fish are going to the bank on high water. It's just, that's where they're going to go. But as the season progresses, they're going to go to certain places. They're going to move to the creeks. They're going to move to the islands. They're going to move to their areas where they're going to try to spawn eventually, and they're going to get there. So knowing the river levels, not only does it help you for where to fish, when to fish, but it's going to help you with that movement of fish, of where they're going to go and when they're going to hit that out there. If it's 7, 8 foot, and it's really spawning time, I mean 9 foot, and it's really spawning time, they're not going to be out on those spawning areas out in the middle of the river. They're still going to hold back. They're going to stay there. They know when to move out to that. It may be a season where they never go out there to spawn on those center islands and all those grass beds and all those beautiful cover out there. They may never go out there if it's a bad year. So, you need to really pay attention. But the movement from the bank to some of that stuff can be really tricky, and it's later, and it's like the last part of pre-spawn is when they're moving to where they want to go. That movement is really tricky to track them down, and little pinch points on ledges and filing a ledge out from where you were catching them, and kind of filing that ledge over to where you think the fish are going, and working that whole ledge all the way across. George and I were out last year, and it was a weird spring last year. Remember how weird that spawn was last? Stupid, crazy spawn. And we were struggling. We caught some smaller fish on the bank, so we knew that the big fish were already on the move. And we started working this ledge across the river. And I'm telling you, we worked this thing for 150 yards and never got a bite. And all of a sudden, we got to this little opening where it was kind of pinched down, and the fish would have to come around to go into this area, and bing, 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 bing. We caught like 6 or 8, 18 to 20-inch fish all in this one little area. And then we were like, okay, now, then we look up and down the river on that level right there. And we know that they're going to spawn way over there. And we're off the bank, pretty far, 150 yards. And now we're looking up and down the river. Now we're looking for these little pinch points up and down the river. And we just drifted down that whole thing and just started picking them off, man, and just banging them off all the way down through there. And that was a progression of the fish. And it was like, it was close to spawning season, but it really wasn't. It was close to there. And the fish moved that much up and down and in and out. And the closer to the spawn, the harder it is to catch them. And that's the thing. That's why I like the early ice out early pre-spawn, man, is so much more fun.
So the ice out on the river, is it much like the lake where some days it could be pretty good right in the beginning of the day, but it gets better as the day progresses and it warms up? Same deal, or
100% weather related. If it's nice, warm weather,
yeah,
like we just had the third day. I mean, this stuff is not, we don't make this up.
There you go.
Now I will say this.
Yeah. I hope you say what I think you're going to say.
I'm going to say something different than you think I'm going to say.
No, I think you're going to say the right thing.
And if I say this, and certain people are watching, but we have a network that we fish with of about 4 or 5 guys, and we've grown up together fishing and learning the river. And, we've made some discoveries like where to fish. So if you fish the same areas over and over and over and over, where to fish. But one of the things that we've always done that's been a lot of fun, is we will pick an area that we don't often fish. And we're going like, okay, we're going there. And we'll make sure all the gas we can squeeze in the boat's in the boat, and we launch the boat. And whoever's on the boat, 2, 3 guys, we start breaking it down. And it's like a live on the water lesson. So what I do is I say, and remember, this program is all about pre-spawn. Mm-hmm. So I say, where are the most obvious big-time spawning areas? Because smallmouth spawn in 2 different ways. They spawn like bluegills in massive colonies, mm-hmm, if the conditions allow it.
Right.
But then you have your loner smallies, your smaller groups that spawn on more isolated spawn habitat, and they're more affected by river change. So they can be like this classic. They can be ready to spawn and then not ready to spawn, and then ready to spawn and then not ready to spawn. So go back to what I said, guys. Identify a major league spawning area, okay, in an area that you either know or you don't know. Now, literally take your boat and drive to that spawning area and stand in your boat and look down the river, across the river, and up the river. For as far as you can see, it might be a mile, and a mile. All of the fish, for the most part, that are going to spawn in this massive area are in that area. You don't have to go past that. You don't have to go past that. And you don't have to go past that. And while they're in that area, they're making a bunch of moves. Now, herein lies the problem. It's difficult to fish what you can't see in moving water. And all those hundreds and hundreds of water willow grass beds, which I talked about in a seminar at Smallmouth Saturday, they're not sticking out of the water. They're only like an inch tall, cut off by the ice.
Mm-hmm.
They create underwater current breaks. All the ledges create underwater current. So, if you want to roll the dice and you want to risk it for the big win, challenge yourselves to learn how to read water properly and take the time to investigate those subtle current breaks out in that pre-spawn area, and you can be rewarded with some of the most amazing smallmouth fishing that you'll find on any river
Oh yeah.
in any part of this country
Yeah.
on a regular basis. But you got to know, and I'm going to tie it together here for you, Mike. You got to understand river levels.
Yep.
You got to understand spawning sites. And you got to understand where these fish hang between winter and spawn. There's the recipe for you, buddy.
Oh yeah. No doubt about it.
Was that what you thought I was going to talk about?
No.
Oh.
No. Well, we were talking about temperature and the warm up and how the warm up really does things great early in the pre-spawn, and it really does. Like Monday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, those guys, those guys crushed them on the river. They absolutely had a great day. But I talked to a guy that was out on Sunday and really struggled, and Saturday they really struggled, and Monday was okay, but Tuesday they whacked him. George and I were like,
of course.
Of course, yeah, and they whacked him.
And
good.
Yesterday would have been better.
And yesterday they hammered him again, so it was a great warming trend.
And today would have been spectacular.
Yeah, yep. Right before,
and tomorrow probably going to suck.
Right before that cold front came in today, it was good all the way till the mid afternoon. So there was excellent opportunities right there, and the bite would have been fierce and fast. And as that was warming up, the crankbait really started coming on, where they were pounding them on crankbaits because the fish, the temperature went 2 or 3 degrees up, 4 degrees up, and those fish got more aggressive. They'll pound, and we talked about it. They'll eat a freaking crankbait in 41-degree water temperature. If it was 37 a couple days before, they're going to eat it, and that's what happened. They started pounding crankbaits, red crankbaits. Is that funny?
Red's where it's at, baby.
Red crankbaits. They hammered them on chatterbaits. Yesterday and today, or Tuesday, late Tuesday and Wednesday, they started pounding them on chatterbaits, slow rolling them things around in that dirty water. The chatterbait was very, very, very good, and of course the jig. The jig played a big role too. Whether you used a skirted jig, a finesse skirted jig, or if you used a Ned rig, or if you used a tube jig, they were just absolutely catching fish on them. Also,
doesn't it just feel so good to say that word?
Yeah.
Jig.
Yeah, I love jigging.
Slips out of the mouth real nice.
So much fun.
Love it.
So that was the warming there. Now I could tell you something in the pre-spawn, moving into spawn. The later in the pre-spawn cycle, on a little lower flow, that temperature change, if you get that and it really gets nice out, you're thinking, oh man, I'm gonna go out and crush them. It's no farther from the opposite that can happen to you, because that triggers those fish to move extremely far and extremely fast.
Well, they're like, it's go time.
And they don't even want to feed. They're like, it's go time. And they just stop eating and they stop doing anything, and they're just on the move. And I'm telling you, we've made this assumption, and we know what assuming something means. We've made this assumption so many times, like, oh my gosh, man, we got warming trend. These fish are going to be smashing. And we get out there and we're like, Dinkville, USA, all these dinks. And we're like, what in the hell is going on? And
don't forget your finesse baits.
Yeah, they just absolutely shut down, man, when they do that big move, and it just creates all kinds of problems. So, don't forget that that's something that's going to happen to you, and you need to be able to.
Well, also the timing of that move. Like, first of all, okay, the moon is a thing. It's not the thing, but it is a thing. So, you're going to have a moon the end of March. You're going to have a moon in April. You're going to have a moon in May. You're going to have a moon in June. And those fish are going to spawn on all of those moons. Now, they might not spawn on the one in March if the weather goes hanky from here on out. So we don't count on that one. But if it's right, it's right. But here's the thing to remember about the spawn. To Mike's point about, oh man, we're going to kill them. And then the bite's tough. And we end up throwing a 2-inch tube to get bit. And we catch big fish. I see somebody put on here, Stephen Black, elephants eat peanuts. Mm-hmm. That they do, my friend, particularly pre-spawn. So here's the deal. You got to keep this in mind. Keep it in mind. the whole entire process from rabid pre-spawn feed to time to go to the bed to okay, I'm leaving the bed, the big girls. I mean, it's literally like, it's 12 hours. It's like that tight.
So, George, that brings up a great point because I'm thinking about the viewers and listeners right now. When you just said about all these months where the moon. Talk about that a little bit. And how long is that? How long is that section of, okay, you get a full moon. What's that mean?
Yeah. So, fish, bass, bluegill. I mean, all these fish in this family, we say they spawn on the moon. Okay, well, what does that mean, spawn on the moon? So, and I'm not going to give you an exact, like, to the minute window, but a couple of days before a full moon to a couple of days after a full moon. So let's just say a 4-day span or a 5-day span, if you will, is the window. But we're on a river. We're on a big river, 444 miles long, and a lot of it is a mile wide and a foot deep. So it reacts quickly to input from rain, from snow melt, from weather. So it can rise quickly and it can fall quickly. So you need the water level, the moon phase, and the weather to all kind of line up, like the moon and the stars align. So you need stable weather. You need acceptable water levels, which depending on where you're at could be anywhere from 4 to 6 feet. And you need, the moon phase. And here's the deal. The first spawn is the smallest wave. And it's also the oldest and the biggest fish. So now you're hunting for, like, what you're hunting for, which is what we're always hunting for. And that's why this show is called Pre-Spawn on the greatest river.
Well, and I'm so glad you brought that up because it's not the river I'm going to mention here, but when I was down in Florida, we had the weather. It was the time of year, but we didn't have the moon. So when I fished in these spawning areas, all that was up was the buck bass, and the big bass were not there because you didn't have everything you just mentioned.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a big deal.
Plus, Florida doesn't count.
Florida don't count.
Florida doesn't count. Florida has its own set of rules.
Yeah,
that's true.
They spawn like 9 months of the year
whenever
in Florida.
they feel like it.
Yeah.
Nick, and you were with us. I don't know if it was last year. I think it was last year, possibly. We fished Swollen River, and it was pre-spawn, and we pulled up behind this island, and it was a long island, and it was definitely it was big time pre-spawn. It was like the middle to the end of March last year, I think it was, and we were fishing a thing called a seam. Okay. And we fished a certain section of this, the seam. And every time you threw in there, we caught a big fish. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, I can't forget that.
You remember George was in the front of the boat.
Yep.
And he was too far up in the seam.
He was.
And you and I were in the back of the boat, and we were just where the fish, the sweet spot on that seam.
Cast.
It was, and they were all giants.
Oh, they were real good ones.
We caught really good fish. So that's the thing. When this water starts to drop, which is what it was doing, the fish use those seams big time. So the seam could be up against the bank, but it's like maybe out 4 or 5 feet now. Dropped out a foot. The fish were on the bank. Now they're on that seam that's 4 or 5 feet out off the bank. still in that good current, using that good current right on the edge of that new current. It could be on the back of an island where it goes, where there's a pocket right behind the island, but then that seam really pulls all the way back, and we were catching them back where almost those two seams came together. And a seam could be a break line off of a head of an island. An island, the water comes down, it hits the island, has to go around. Well, this water going around is a seam.
Side seam.
Is a side seam, and those side seams can be a big player. And I just brought that up to you because I think it was the weekend after that I went out with Anthony Cicero, and we went fishing, and the water temperature, I'm telling you, was like 49, 48, 49 degrees. It was still early in the progression of the pre-spawn, and he was throwing an Alabama rig, and he was catching them good, and I was throwing a swim bait, and I was catching them real good. And then I busted out but he was catching these big fish. So I thought the only thing I could do to keep up with him is to go to the mag draft. So we got on the sides of the islands, and we were fishing these seams on the sides of the islands. And he was fishing on the inside. I was standing on the outside of the boat, and I'd throw out in the current, and I'd let it swing down and get on that seam. And then I would slow reel that mag draft to the point where it was like right on the bottom. I'd just slow reel that thing up through there, and then it would just be, and I'd set the hook, and it'd be a 4-pounder.
That's awesome.
And we ended up with 5 fish for 21.5 pounds.
Good bag.
It was a great bag.
Not the best bag I've
seen. The very next weekend, Anthony and George goes out because I couldn't go fishing that weekend. So George and Anthony go out, and they are doing kind of the same thing, but the mag draft was a big player that day, and they busted a 5-fish bag for 22.5 pounds or something like that. And they beat
23.87, but we're not really being that critical.
Well, then mine was 22 something. I know it was only a pound different. Hey, but anyway, that's seam fishing and pre-spawn. So that's how important seam fishing is. So you have high water bank fishing, Nick. Now you have seam fishing, and then and what the seams are is the movement between the bank and where they're going. Is seams and ledges and that kind of stuff. It makes these seams.
Well,
and it's really, really important.
That's the next thing you just brought up, the runway. So now, and the problem with the runway is you have to deal with, now you're going to deal with insane numbers, just like spot lock in one spot for 6 hours kind of numbers. It takes you a while to find it, but it's a migration route. The problem with it is it's fun as hell. But the problem with it is you're going through epic amounts of buck bass because they're flooding towards the spawning area. The females come in later. And when you intercept one of those runways, again, you see the spawning area.
Well, it's a lot of fun.
You see where you're at, and you're looking for, okay, these fish are moving. How are they going to go? And then you start following your thought process until you finally intercept this runway. And it might take you 6 hours to find it. When you find it, you can hit the spot lock button, and it's usually a jerkbait bite. And, in the current, you're hanging that jerkbait out of the back of the boat. You're catching them on the swing and just dead sticking. And again, I don't want to seem like ungrateful for catching massive amounts of buck bass, but they are smaller fish. But you know what? If you want to hang a bunch of fish and plus learn something in the process of how you track down that migration route, which brings me to something I've been wanting to say for a while, and it's something Mike and I used to do particularly with a really good friend of ours by the name of Terry Albright. And this was something we learned so much about smallmouth river fishing doing this. And what we would do is we'd start the day off with 3 people in the boat. Each person got control of the boat for 1/3 of the day on their chosen waters. So you might have one guy fishing in the mud on the east side. You might have another guy fishing in the gin clear water on the west side. and you might have another guy fishing in the middle. You might have one guy fishing for like big pre-spawn fish that are, in a bigger area. And his third of the day, he might spend a good portion of it finding them.
Match fishing.
Pretty much. But what you learned in one day from the variety, we talked at the beginning, about how many rods we tie up. Not so much. Because now you're looking at, being forced into different areas, right? So that's a fun exercise to try. And we don't really talk about it that much because we're always talking tactic and technique. This is like a fishing exercise that requires a lot of tactic and technique. So some days on the river and pre-spawn, it's feast. Some days on the river and pre-spawn, it's famine. If you're not catching fish at all, it's you.
You're doing something wrong.
It's you.
In springtime, you're doing something wrong.
But you have to have the wherewithal to recognize what is a good day and what is a bad day. And even though this river is legendary, sometimes a good day is
It can be stingy.
a dozen fish.
It can be stingy.
Or some days it's the stories that you hear us tell once in a while where you're like, those guys are full of baloney. Well, maybe we are.
Oh no, I've seen it. Now I do got to ask you guys a question. You guys been going in some really good information here, but I get asked all the time, Nick, do these guys really catch these fish on a mag draft? And I know for a fact, yes. What do you think, in your opinion, some people have? What do they think they're doing wrong with the mag draft?
Not throwing it.
Not throwing it enough.
Well, that and they're reeling it way too fast.
Okay.
I felt like my problem with my mag draft was I fished it too high in the water column. There's only there's really only a few times where the mag draft really works high in the water column. Those fish got to be really aggressive, and the stars got to align, and then you can't really do anything wrong. But most of the time, it's really getting down and dirty with it, and then and a lot of people are afraid to lose the bait. Because it's a 20-something. How much are they? $17 for one of these baits, and you don't want to lose it, so you're afraid to get it down to where it really needs to be. And honestly, I watch George because he's really good at it. He catches a lot of fish on him. He is, very methodical with that really slow retrieve, and he's banging the bottom, and he's, effortlessly bringing it through the cover. And this thing
here's what you want to look for.
Gets really, really good.
You want your bait to be at that angle in the water, and you want that head just moving like that. Now the tail's back here doing its thing, and the bait's moving like this a little bit. It doesn't roll. This ain't a big roller. It's just moving a little bit, but the head of that bait needs to be doing that, which means you're reeling it at the correct speed. And all I can tell you is it's a intrusion into their space. And if you can experience Susquehanna River pre-spawn mag draft / glide bait bite, when everything lines up and you're out in that pre-spawn abyss, it is freaking amazing.
We fish them.
Amazing.
Yeah, Thomas, we fish them. And somebody else asked this question about how we rig them. We fish the treble hook a lot of the times, but we do use a belly weighted offset. There's the belly weight that we use. That's one of George's rigged up ones there. And what is that, 7 or 7.0? I think
this is I use two different sizes. For the smallmouth, I do really well with the 6.0.
Right.
And I like to fish this in the cover.
Yeah.
So I'm skipping this in. This is usually something I'm doing in a higher water scenario where the fish are up inside of, because a lot of the pre-spawn and spawn season, a lot of fish are in slack water.
Yeah, they're in those pockets.
But way more fish are in the current. But the ones that are in slack water are the ones you're looking for.
Yeah.
But you got to get, sometimes you got to go this way. The majority of the time, I'm fishing the standard mag draft. Now, the way I like to fish it is I like to put one point up inside that slit in the belly. Like that. That's how I like to fish it. And they eat it.
Just slow roll that thing, And you know what? Funny thing is, when you get snagged up on that thing, Nick, guess what? You can go after it. Go after it. Go get it out of the rock. And it's as long as you don't bury it into a rock or into a log, you can get them back really easy.
I lost one mag draft last year.
And I'm not kidding you. He has one mag draft that I know he caught over 100 fish
It's
on.
done.
Is it done?
Yeah, it's done. It's done.
He'll squeeze a freaking a buffalo penny till it
Buffalo nickel
till it craps. So
we get asked a lot 5-inch or 6-inch. So in the springtime, it's heavy on the 6. And there's clues that you'll be given when to go to the 5, and those clues are missing a lot of fish. You change color. You're fishing pearl white, 6-inch. The water's clear. You miss a lot of fish. You go to I like the MB Gizzard for clear water. You still miss a lot of fish. You're fishing. You should go to the 5-inch. And the first fish that bites you has that 5-inch down in his crushers. You made the right adjustment. There's times when the 5-inch is necessary in the spring, and the 5-inch is super necessary in the fall. And from time to time throughout the year, we like to do a tackle shop live on our favorite river. We don't want to wear it out, and become like total homers, but we will do a summer. We will do a post spawn. We will do a fall. And in the fall, early fall, late summer, September,
Yeah, 5-inch really shines in.
Kind of like that kind of time of the year when you're like, that 5.
It does shine at times.
Can be your savior.
Yeah.
You need some 5s.
So we're going to kind of wrap this up, but I just want to kind of say, listen, the crankbait is a big giant player right now. 41, 42 degree water temperature is not too cold. It's a player right now. It's catching fish. Throw a lot of crankbaits. One of our guides was in today and told me something really cool about a deep dive and lipped crankbait that he did to get down quick enough where the fish were. The shallow lips were going over top of them. So it was really cool that way. So, they have, there's a lot of crankbait opportunities out there. There's a lot of chatterbait opportunities right now. Tons of chatterbait opportunities to be doing. There's a ton of jig fishing, finesse jigs, even up to a little larger jig. Your finesse jigs right now, your crate, believe it or not, man, the crayfish patterns are working. So the jig is a big player. And then, of course, a Ned rig and a tube. So if you stick with those things and you go out there tomorrow or the rest of this week, or you go out there, those somewhere in that stuff right there, you will figure it out and you'll catch fish on that. So, follow the water, know your gauges, and follow the water and know where your fish are going, and look for those areas where you think is a highway. Nick said it great. That's a highway for where they're going. And anywhere that thing pinches down like that, man, it could be like one of those days, man. It just is something special. I love the pre-spawn more than anything time of the year to fish. I'm a big fall time fisherman. I love that too. Oh, I forgot. Last thing is a jerk bait. The jerk bait. So those things I said, plus the jerk bait, it's going to get it done. It's going to get it done really well for you. And we talked about how to fish the jerk bait. We talked about that a lot. So you can go back through our shows and listen to our jerk bait shows, because it's key for the pre-spawn.
Well, and
what do you got to add, George?
Well, we will. This was more of a. We wanted to do like a how-to, not so much get down into the actual baits as much. And we'll do that. But this was more, I really like this kind of discussion. I love talking technique. but not fishing, not lure technique, but locating fish technique.
Theory, right?
Great,
Exactly.
Great.
That's great work.
You know, and one of the things I learned a long time ago on this river, make those notes, perfect your craft, learn how to read water. When you look at something and you're not sure what it is, put your trolling motor on high, drive over and look at it. If, you know, this kind of water is different than this kind of water, you know, every movement of water is telling you something. Learn it, right? Also, what I wanted to say was, if you're not from the area, and there's a lot of people on here from all over the country, and you want to come out and experience the spring season on the river, give us a call. We have, you know, Susquehanna Fishing Tackle Guide Service, which has been around for 25 plus 30 years. We have 3 amazingly talented guides that operate for us. And we'd probably squeeze you in. Get you a day to experience the Susquehanna, the beauty of it, the wonder of it, and how, you know, just impressive it is. So,
hey, George, I saw 2 guys signing on here that were down at the Classic.
Oh, there's more than 2.
Yeah. How many guys?
We got Joe Cascarino.
Yeah.
We have got Galen Heathcord.
Yeah.
I know Skeeter Steve's on his way
down. Skeeter Steve's on the way down there. Who else is down there watching Tackle Shop live from down at the Classic? Man, that's so cool. And I knew those guys weren't going to miss the show, so I knew they were going to watch it from down there. But I'm sure there's more guys down there.
You never know. Mike, and Nick might jump in the truck tomorrow night after work and drive down.
Well, I just hope that everybody has a great time down there, because George and I would love nothing more than to come down there and hang out with you guys. You know, it's just a really tough time of year for us to get away, especially, you know, this time of year. So I hope you guys have a great time, and I know you will. It's a great show. It's a great event. You know, shoot, I wish we were there, huh?
And what's going to be happening here the next 3 days?
Yeah.
Streaming, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
We be streaming.
We're going to watch every minute of it here at the shop. So come on down, watch the Classic with us this week. And don't forget Saturday, our big deal at Saturday, because that's going to be a lot of fun too.
That freaking interrogation you were putting on me earlier. I mean, I felt like Jack Nicholson up on a stand, man.
I wanted to get to the point.
You got to the point.
Yeah.
But did you get to the truth? You can't handle the truth.
Hey, listen, everybody. We will catch you on the next Tackle Shop Live.
Right there, you took my breath away. Young and pretty, was it just a dream? The next day, you called me up. You told me I'm your little buttercup. You came over and you fell into my arms. Well, I know what I feel. Please tell me your love is real. You make me